a lot of these are have a horror element to them.
Yeah.
Like the low light. It hit me and killed me. But
what are you guys watching?
So Far Cry 5, baby. Gather round. He just keeps bombing. I die once. Now it's real personal. There are no doors. I mean,
he just falls through the geometry.
Someone pointed out, do they really always have to roll out of every vehicle?
It's so funny.
It is pretty funny, but...
Here comes that holy fire.
So crazy stuff like this happens every time you're playing Far Cry 5. It's funny because although that was hilarious, that's maybe not the least of what we've seen, but we've seen plenty of shit happen. I mean, we were watching each other play on the first day we had the game, and it's almost like every 5 seconds something crazy happens in this open world.
Yesterday when I was playing co-op with Jake, there's a truck that was driving by, and there was just a dead deer that was just being dragged along behind it, which was obviously not intentional, but stuff like that's just really dumb and fun. I feel like this game, they always talk about it's an anecdote factory, but it feels like they've taken all the systems and they've just cranked it up to 11, where it's it's constantly having stuff interacting. I'm trying to save a hostage and a boar attacks me, and then that boar kills the hostage, and then a cougar attacks me while I'm trying to kill the boar. Just stuff like that. It's happening all the time.
Totally. And it's weird to think that excluding Primal, but the last one was 4, and that stuff did definitely happen.
Oh yeah.
But as you said, it was few and far between. So when it did kind of happen, a deer being dragged by seamlessly nothing across the street would be kind of immersion breaking, but now it's just hilarious, and you kind of own the factor. And you also own, I feel as well as the NPC dumb dialogue turning up, where the things that they say in any given situation doesn't always match up. What's the one that you had that
Oh, my buddy Luke
cry.
Smith, who I love, but also he's dumb as shit. He was swimming out of the Henbane River, and a bear started attacking me and clawing me, and then I look back after having run up the hill, and it starts clawing him. And as he's getting his face rended by this massive grizzly, he just shouts, "Something's coming, I know it!"
Something's coming. I just know.
What tipped you off, Luke, you dumb idiot? Say what you want about Ubisoft over the years, having yearly Assassin's Creed releases, having a bunch of Far Cries now, but they make really good open worlds, and I think the direction they're going now is to get rid of those mini-maps littered with icons, and with Assassin's Creed Origins, Watch Dogs 2 to some extent, and especially Far Cry 5, they're going more for that discovering things a la Skyrim, Breath of the Wild. They said in Assassin's Creed Origins, the compass across the top of the screen, they lifted it right from Skyrim. They thought seeing little icons on that every once in a while was more encourage exploration more than you would just on a mini map where you see an exclamation point or this herb that you can pick.
It's not the way I typically would play. When I played older Far Cry games, it felt very checklisty of I'm gonna pull up the map and okay, I'm gonna slowly comb through the island and do everything. This one is just this natural progression of I'm walking and I see a person and I go and save them, and then they tell you oh hey, I heard this outpost is over there, and then it pops up on your map, and it's always within walking distance, so you're just okay, cool, I'll just go that way. So you kind of just play the game that way, and it feels you're naturally discovering everything.
Again, that's the reward you have for okay, well, let me start talking to these people, and that even again goes on the side of the road. You help someone out, you liberate someone who's about to be executed.
There's a huge Peggy stash deep inside the old Bright Warden health mine. We're talking guns, ammo, stuff we need.
It's gratifying to have them lead you to a prepper stash. And I have to say, the prepper stashes, I feel could have been that cut and paste Ubisoft system.
Treasure map search.
Just, one of 4, right? A bunker, a cave, whatever it is. Here it's, you can see some similarities. Sometimes they're very short, and there's some story elements still, but they all feel handcrafted, and they all are so rewarding because yes, there is, maybe perk magazines or even a vehicle or cash. That's the icing on the cake, but the best part is the design of each one of these. Sometimes they're 15 minutes long. I was showing you guys, I don't know if I should spoil it, but basically you go to the Raptor Peak and you start, there's something about a hiking party that gets lost at the top, and along the way you start having just these really great moments. The one I always think about is rappelling on a rope and you're swinging, and you hear the rattlesnakes, and you like fall back, and you get
The
closer.
Doppler effect?
Yeah, and you just, it's one of these things where someone, like a designer, intentionally on this little ledge, put a rattlesnake there. Like, that's what I remember thinking is like, you asshole. Like, I'm going to have to do this, like, gulp, here we go. Sure enough, the second I hit the ground, a rattlesnake comes and bites me. And that was just like one of many things along the way of just this side mission. Like, it just feels so rewarding again to like go through these and have it be unexpected as far as like length and what I'm gonna run into and all these elements. And like, aside from outposts, which are kind of repetitious, there is no repetition, I feel like, in this game.
Well, I also love the prepper stashes for, I think that's where some of the best like storytelling actually comes into play. Like, I think the main story's writing is just kind of okay, a little forgettable for me at least, but like
It's all over the place.
they're really flexing like their environmental storytelling
Yeah.
like muscles with the prepper stashes, where you'll like find a house and there's like a bunch of dead people and you find these notes that kind of explains like what happened. They were trying to get out and, you know, they were trying to hide in the bunker. Or there's this really great early one where there's this like tower with like a locked door and there's a note where it's like, oh, you gotta shoot the lock from the other side across the river, but I'm a crack shot, I can definitely do it. And then you suddenly hear like the sniper fire and there's this dude who's just constantly shooting at the door from the other side. And you go and you kill him, and then you get the sniper. You take a sniper and you look, and there's just like 500 bullet holes around the window and around the door of him. Like, he's just been there for hours trying to snipe it, and then I just like snipe it in one shot and like go and take it, and like stuff like that. Just like, I think that is like the interesting like mini stories they're telling like through the world that I find actually like really compelling.
It's also the brilliant part of that side quest is you could have come into it at any point and it still would have made sense. You could have heard the shots first and then seen him shooting at it. Yeah.
No kidding.
So I saw the bullet holes on the wall first and I was like, where are those from? And then all of a sudden I heard the shot and then I read the note and then I was like, oh, that makes sense. You could have come in at the note and then heard him shoot. You could have killed him and then looked across and seen the glowing lock through the window.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Like, I saw him shooting and I was like, shut up, and just shot him down, climbed up, picked up his gun, and then I saw the glowing lock and I shot it, went back around and was like, all right, what did that do? Did that do anything? And then I read it, I read the note, and it's like, oh, okay, I can just go right in then, and I go right in and I'm there. It's pretty cool.
As far as people in the GameSpot office goes, I think I, maybe one other person, really liked Assassin's Creed Origins for its world mainly and some of its story. Jake, I know you played it a little bit, like at the review event and everything, and then a lot afterward. Did you, like, where would this Far Cry 5 rank in Ubisoft open worlds?
I mean, I think Assassin's Creed Origins kind of started that change, and I didn't love Assassin's Creed Origins, but it did some really neat things, and it shook up that formula, which I liked. And I think this kind of lifts the cool stuff from there, which they lift from Skyrim, and then it also, like you were saying, cranks up the Far Cry-ness to 11. And I like, too, how the story in this kind of takes a back seat. Like, even though they were trying to build up, like, oh, you're going to hate that you love Joseph, or whatever his name is, Joseph C. And, like, apart from the intro, it's kind of like, all right, like, that was a chilling intro, but then it's just kind of like you start making your own stories right away. It's almost like they understand that no one's gonna talk about Far Cry's story with each other. Like, sure, they might talk about the villain, like Voss or Joseph Seed or whatever.
We don't know what he's capable of.
But the real stories come from, you know, like a bear running out of the woods and attacking a boar that you're trying to hunt, and then like all the ridiculous stuff. That's what's fun about Far Cry, and I think this does it very well.
I think even the side missions are like really compelling in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the previous Far Cry games, it's like, okay, you got your same 3 or 4 activities that they just kind of littered throughout the map. This one, it's all the side missions are like unique. They have unique characters, unique dialogue, you're doing unique activities, you're helping cows have sex.
Well, that's the thing. I think we're talking about how you come across quests. I think your companions in this game are essential, and obviously that goes back to Far Cry 2. There were like iterations of this in Far Cry 4, and then Primal had the animals, which also is heavily in this with Peaches the cougar, Boomer the dog, Cheeseburger the bear. Yeah. I think the companions are essential because, like, Rob, you were just playing earlier, and you went down into a bunker, of which there are many because it's like survivalist, doomsday prepper bunkers that you run across in this rural Montana. But then you hear gunshots up above, and I think the companions, despite being dumb, despite their dialogue replaying itself like on a constant basis, I think they work really well in this crazy game because you'll hear gunshots up on the surface, and like firefights will start when you're not even a part of them. But you also go up and you know exactly like, oh, I'm gonna defend Cheeseburger, and I see him mauling him, so that must be an enemy even before you see the marker. Like, the companions are great, and they will get into their own conflicts apart from you if you're just doing your own thing trying to explore. And I think that just makes the world it doesn't feel realistic in any way.
No.
It feels the opposite of realistic.
It like adds to the chaos.
But this world itself is organic. Like, this world makes sense within itself. It's not realistic compared to the real world, but it's like, it makes sense as far as like these systems overlapping all have a strict kind of rule set they follow. And it's funny to see the rules get bent. And that's what makes this one so fun. Like, kind of harkening back to, it's funny when Assassin's Creed Origins was very much about discoverability. This one's like that with the added like anecdote factory, like you mentioned. Like, they've been, almost all of Ubisoft's internal studios are going toward now. Like Watch Dogs 2, I know they kind of kick-started it, and now they're going that way with Far Cry 5. And I don't know. I'm curious to see where they go after.
Got people to protect.
But in general, I think this is, I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite Ubisoft open world game, and I'm only comparing them because some of their internal studios use the same engines and the same philosophies, but I think it's up there. It's like this and Assassin's Creed Origins or Black Flag for me personally.
This is probably one of my favorite open worlds they've done in a while, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way they're presenting it, the way you're discovering stuff. And we didn't really talk about it much, but the setting, like, I absolutely like love like the setting of Montana and like these fields and the rocky, like mountains and the forest. Having like been to places like that on vacation, like there's a nostalgia I feel when I'm playing this game, and like it's just really beautiful to look at.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game.
It does remind me of the time I got eaten by a bear and ran over by an ATV.
It's coming right for us!
God, I hate Luke. He's such an idiot. But I bring him everywhere.